You don't have to fear DNA, but you should fear what they're telling you about it. If they can store it forever, if they can link it to crimes you've never committed, and if they use it without your knowledge or consent, then it's no longer just science, it's control. Now, welcome to Southern Confidential, where the truth isn't always pretty, but it's always documented. And if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like the video, because this DNA story isn't just wild, it's personal. It reaches into hospitals, courtrooms, even your own family tree. And what you're about to hear just might change the way you see justice, privacy, and power. Now, let's get into the story. DNA is your body's barcode. It's who you are. But in today's world, it's also a weapon, a business, a database. And once someone takes it, you don't get it back. From hospitals to police stations to immigration systems, millions of Americans have already been swabbed, often without realizing what comes next. Now your DNA can be taken in a moment, during an arrest, at a hospital, during a blood test, when your child is born, or even when you spit into a tube for a family tree. Now, most people don't know that these samples can be stored for decades in state labs, in research vaults, in national databases like CODIS, home to over 18 million genetic profiles. And in many states, even if you're never charged, your DNA can stay in the system forever. So to be clear, we're not against DNA. We're not against solving crimes or freeing the innocent. What we're talking about is the secrecy, the sloppy science, the glitches no one fixes, and the fact that most people have no idea how easily their DNA can be taken, stored, and weaponized. And in short, we're shining a light on the inconsistencies, on the unknowns, on the scientific Wild West this has become, where one partial match can flip a life upside down. So no, this isn't about fear. This is about facts and fighting for the right to know where your DNA goes and who might come back for it. So you've heard how DNA catches killers, but what happens when it catches the wrong person? Michael Usry, pulled into a cold case based on a partial match from his father's genealogy test. Incorrect. What about Juan Rivera, convicted 3 times, even though DNA cleared him? He lost 20 years of his life. What about Louis Anderson? Now his DNA showed up on a murder victim. Get this, guys. But he was in the hospital at the time, and the match came from a paramedic's gloves. Then there's the Norfolk 4. 4 men confessed under pressure during an interrogation, but guess what? The DNA didn't match any of them. And then there's Kirk Bloodsworth, sentenced to death. DNA from evidence hidden in a judge's chambers finally cleared him. We need to know these things, guys. The system sounds scientific, but it's far from flawless. Partial matches can implicate entire families. Low quality samples can result in false positives, and secondary transfer can put your DNA on a crime scene you've never been near. And sometimes the science isn't science at all. And of course, there are those DNA stories that we love. DNA that has brought justice. What about the Golden State Killer? He was caught after 40 years thanks to genetic genealogy. Kirk Bloodsworth became the first death row inmate exonerated by DNA, and hundreds of sexual assaults and murders have been solved because of DNA. So just remember, it's not perfect. And those stories are the ones they're hiding. So if you think that your DNA is private, think again, because hospitals will sometimes keep newborn blood samples. CBP has swabbed over 133,000 children. Police can get your DNA even if you're never charged in some states. And family genealogy sites, well, many allow law enforcement to assess your profile without your knowledge. So what's the long and short of the DNA secret? Well, don't blindly give your DNA. Do your research for your state. Ask why. Ask where it's going. Ask how long they'll keep it. Support laws to expunge DNA for those never convicted. Demand oversight. And above all, question everything labeled scientific evidence, because even DNA can lie. As with anything, guys, there's good news and then there's bad news. Since 1989, there's been 3,565 plus exonerations due to DNA testing. Now that's good news, right? Because according to the National Registry of Exonerations, these people have been officially exonerated, many after serving decades for crimes they didn't commit. Now, what about the faulty forensic science? Now, studies show that at least 732 people have been exonerated wrongfully after faulty DNA. That's nearly 1 in 4 of those exonerations involved bad or misleading forensic evidence, including flawed DNA interpretations, bite mark analysis, hair microscopy, and software misreads. So, if you're still a skeptic, or like me, just didn't realize how deep the DNA rabbit hole goes, not to worry. I'll link some powerful articles, court cases, real life testimonies for your viewing in the description box. And they are sure to open your eyes, because this isn't just about catching criminals, guys. It's about how far the system is willing to go once they have a piece of you. So tap into these resources, guys. Educate yourself and share the video, because the truth isn't the scary part. What's scary is how few people know about it. So here's something that we must be concerned about, and that is DNA retention. There's a one rule basically nationwide. There is no federal law limiting how long your DNA can be stored. However, some states require automatic deletion of DNA profiles if a person is acquitted or not charged, like Maryland and New York. Other states, well, they keep it indefinitely, even for people never convicted. And CODIS, the FBI's national system, well, it contains over 18 million profiles, including from arrestees and detainees. Now, you don't have to fear DNA, but you should fear what they're not telling you about it. If they can store it forever, if they can link it to crimes you've never committed, and if they can use it without your knowledge or consent, then it's no longer just science, it's control. And this DNA story is just scratching the surface. So if you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like the video. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Southern Confidential, and I will see you on the next video.